Hollywood mourning the loss of Joan Rivers, who died yesterday at the age of 81. Bill Zwecker is here now to talk about some of his memories. And a lot of folks don't know that she does have a Chicago connection.
She did. Very early in her career, Joan was here in 1961 for almost a year at Second City, in the early days of Second City. It was not a happy time for her. Even years later, she was very proud of the connection to Second City because it became such an incredible improv icon and, of course, sent all these people to Saturday Night Live. But her experiences were not great. She felt it was a very cliquey little group there. She wasn't accepted. And I think part of it, and even Joan herself said, she said, you know, I want to be a star. I like to be my own person. I'm not part of an ensemble. That's not her thing. And but what's interesting is one of the little blackout things that she wrote back then, they still sometimes use at Second City, a little bit that she did. So it was so funny. But Joan, you know, was proud of Second City, but it wasn't, you know, she went back to New York, and of course the rest is history.
She did perform quite often at the old Mr. Kelly's.
Mr. Kelly's,
right?
Which a lot of people might not know is, of course, where Gibson's, the steakhouse, is located today. It was a huge, of course, nightclub, and, you know, Barbra Streisand was one of her first places she performed, and, of course, Joan Rivers was there, and all the great comics and entertainers back in the day.
And you had a chance to get to know her on a little trip, a little jaunt to a book signing or something?
You know, I was on Joan's, I was a contributor to her old daytime talk show for 4 years, so that's when we really got to be friends and got to know her. She was in town promoting one of her books. I was in the limo with her going out to Old Orchard, and this was right when Melissa Rivers, her daughter, had just gotten engaged. Joan told me, she said, it's not going to last. She said, this guy, you know, they have horses in common, and that's about it. You know, he's a big horse breeder, and Melissa was really into riding in those days. She predicted the marriage wouldn't last, but she said, you know, the guy's really good looking. So if nothing else, maybe I'll get a good looking grandchild out of it, which is ironic because, of course, her beloved grandson, Cooper, of course, who's now 13, was the child of that marriage. And, of course, she loved him to death.
And I think a lot of times we can forget, just back in the day when she was sort of coming on the scene, there weren't really any other female comics out there, except maybe Phyllis Diller,
Phyllis
right?
Diller,
yeah.
You know, Elaine May, you know, back in the day. But no, Joan was very much a groundbreaker, not only for being a female comic, but also she was so outrageous. I mean, you know, as people have said, you either loved her or didn't. She was, you know, always did a lot of politically incorrect stuff. A lot of it got her into trouble. Even recently now, you know, with Twitter and everything else, she would tweet something and it would blow up, you know.
Sure.
But Joan was her own person. In person, she was one of the warmest people I've ever known and had a great heart and was very generous to her friends. And, you know, we're all going to miss her.
All right, Bill Zwecker, we appreciate it. Memories of Joan Rivers, gone at the age of 81.